Well, hello, 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 fellow addicts. Welcome back to Addicts Live, your internet escape from the craziness in the world. I'm Alissa, your resident head addict, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host to, I think, the north, Super Safi.
Northwest, yeah, in Alberta today.
Where in
So
the world is Safi?
I
San Diego.
love that show. But yeah, I always wanted to be a gumshoe on that show. But I digress. Yeah, doing well, enjoying the THOH event so far. Act 1 is still underway as of the airing of this, or recording of this. So enjoying Act 1. How about you? How are you finding everything that's going on in our little towns?
Two thumbs up so far. But so the Addicts Crew is back once again to bring you Simpsons news and Saturday Smiles. And as always, before we get into this week's show, it is time for your regular reminder to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So hit that red button so you don't miss any of the addicts. And as always, for those not watching this directly on YouTube, I will put a link to the subscribe button in the show notes below. So, Saf, let's get on with the show, shall we? It's been a couple weeks since we've been together. We recorded a spoiler video that aired last week. Then the week before, we had an Addicts Live. So we're back again to talk about the latest, the 2021 Treehouse of Horror event that has hit our games. Act 2, as of the airing of this, hit our games yesterday, but we are recording this as before Act 2 hits. So initial thoughts overall on the Treehouse of Horror event, Saf?
I like that the music's back. I like the content of the prize track. I think in our spoiler video, I really mentioned that the Jurassic Park segment of it was going to be my favorite, and I totally agree. Like, I feel the same right now. All the prizes fit really well together. I love the whole dinosaur concept. I bought all the extra Jurassic Park walls, the bundles of 20 pieces for 30 donuts. So yeah, the whole prize track I'm quite happy with. It's been one of my favorite Act 1 prize tracks in a long time. We haven't had too many good Act 1 prize tracks
It's true.
in a long time. So yeah, this was definitely my favorite Act 1 prize track. It felt like a prize 4 prize track to me.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Well, I don't know that I'd go, well, prize 4, Act 4 prize track, do you mean like it just felt like a prize track that should be an Act 4 prize track, or like an Act 4 prize track as in it ended with a hot dog bot?
No, yeah, actually, that's true. Some Act 4 is hot dog box, so maybe not Act 4, but yeah, it felt like it should have been the culmination and with everything kind of coming to a beautiful close with a nice little ribbon on it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I enjoyed Act 1 more than I thought I would. I finished it. I have all the prizes, and I like that everything fits together in one cohesive way. And I think there were some tappers that were talking about how they missed prize tracks that had prizes that all work together in an area. Because we've had so many prizes lately or tracks lately that have had like a hodgepodge of things. Like, what do I do with this random hot dog cooker bot or this squishy machine bot? Like, where do I put these things? So this was nice. And I think that was, I want to say it was Santos Al Helper that said that, but I could be wrong. But I think that's who it was that had mentioned that. So if it's not, I apologize. If it is, credit to you. Uh, but uh, but it was nice. It's nice. Everything fits together. You can have a section of your Springfield that's just set for geriatric park. You have all these components for it. I like the walls. I did buy a bunch of walls, and I actually set aside a whole area. I bought a whole bunch of new land. Yes, I am one of those people that still has land to buy in my Springfield. Um, and I surrounded it with a bunch of water. And I'm building my own little geriatric park area, which probably will take me, 6 months to build, but but it's planned. It's gonna go there, I promise. Um, so it's nice to have all the things that fit together. I really liked Act One more than I thought I would when we did the spoiler video. I thought Act One was gonna be, the base of the mountain, and then we were gonna kind of slowly, steadily climb up. I actually think Act One. I don't think it's gonna be the best act. I do think some of the later acts. I think EA got it right this time with the prize tracks. Just looking ahead to Acts 3 and 4. Um, but I do think this was a good act overall. What are your thoughts on the tappables coming back? As you know, some of you have seen by now. You should have seen by now because we are in Act 2 of the airing of this. Once you get to Part 5 of the Welcome to Geriatric Park quest line, the dinosaurs roam your town and you get to squish them. So what are your thoughts on that, Saf?
I liked it. It's always nice when you have a little bit of interactive. A couple things. One, I felt like 15 was maybe a little too easy. Could have been a higher number, especially because we're having a roaming around in Springfield. Two, I feel like the Raptor that we can purchase is very similar to the tappable. I can't tell you how many times I tapped on him thinking that I was tapping a tappable. And for some reason, no matter where I scroll in my town, that's where he is. So, uh, sorry. Overall, I've been really happy to see the tappables back.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it is funny because it's like the last time they came back with the last mini event, it was the convicts were in orange, so you kept tapping random orange characters that wore orange in your Springfield. This time, you just tap a random dinosaur that's in your Springfield because our Springfields are odd and we happen to have random dinosaurs that walk around from events that were like 4 years ago. So it's kind of funny. But I agree. Yes, it is. And I do think they're a little harder to get than the convicts were. I'm having a harder time finding them.
I find them clustered. I mean, I'm in my Krusty Land area. I went there and I was able to tap 15 right there. So it's very hit and miss, but they do congregate. I guess raptors do hunt in packs, is what I learned in Jurassic Park. So yeah, it was really like that. And but yeah, still, they are hard to find at times. But when you find them, they're there in bunches. So I felt 15 was slightly a little bit of a low number.
Yeah, it is weird because it's like you have to do 15. There's no benefit to tapping more than 15. So like once you tap those 15, I just let them build up in my Springfield and wait for the next part. And they will be back throughout Act 2, throughout Act 3, and throughout Act 4. You will need to do that. I did think they probably could build a little bit like 15 and then tap 25 and then tap 30. I don't mind that there's no currency component with them like there used to be with
Booze and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, with the old school tappables. Like I don't mind that you're not getting extra currency from them. I don't mind that they're part of the quest line, but it could be a little bit more advanced instead of 15 every time. I do miss. It's so funny. I keep going back to the old school way of doing things when you have to do a tappable and you just have to do it, and it goes right to it. I keep doing that, and it doesn't work that way anymore. So you've been playing TSTO way too long when you do silly things like that. But yeah, they're fun. I'm glad they're back. If you have a big town with a lot of roads like I do, like most people do who've been playing a long time, they do spread out along the roads. In my one game, I find them in the burning bushes, like I did with the convicts. In my other game, I tend to find them in Springfield Heights. So I guess they're just roaming around the fancy shops. So, but the other thing I want to talk about too is so let's talk about the specific prizes. So for Act 1, you had you had Geriatric Park Burns, then you had the Geriatric Park Front Gate, and then you had the Geriatric Park. Try saying Geriatric Park 15 times. Helicopter.
5 times.
Yeah, and then you had the Geriatric Park Exploration Pods, and then you had the Geriatric Park Visitor Center. And if you purchased Grandpa Saurus, you got the Geriatric Park Dome. So you did get a lot of Geriatric Park items. I just want to take each one quickly, one by one, and just kind of discuss a little bit. So Geriatric Park Burns, costume for Mr. Burns. It's the first time in a while I remember not getting a full character on the prize track, like it's a costume instead of a full character. It is a little odd. I get it though. Like I'd rather have a Geriatric Park Burns than a character that is geriatric. That'd be weird. So quick thoughts on Geriatric Park Burns.
I mean, during the event, I'm a fan of it. It goes well. Perfect parody from like the original Jurassic Park movie. I love the whole attire, the cane, and everything, right from the segment as well. So it works out perfectly in that regards. Post event, I mean, when you got Mr. Burns' gorilla suit and you're gonna be earning 2.5 times currency, like why would you ever use this one? So,
I don't use any of them, so I don't send them on tasks.
So, yeah, for me, overall, it's a nice skin, but in terms of like cohesiveness with the act prizes, but otherwise, yeah, post event, there's really not much else to it.
Yeah, I mean, I like his tasks. I think they're funny. And they had a little bit more to build off of than they did in the episode itself. So it's always fun when they kind of expand a little bit on it. Like I like where he shoots himself with the water gun. I think that's funny. So I like his tasks. The next prize was the park entrance, which is basically a gate. The interesting thing about that, though, is once you unlock that, you unlock the ability to purchase walls in the store for donuts. Say that again?
Wall.
Geriatric park walls, which if you are cash strapped or donut strapped, I should say, you could buy just regular old concrete walls from your store. And they serve the same purpose. They're a little bit different in color, but they basically are the same thing. But the walls cost donuts. There's no option for cash on a wall or anything like that. So what are your thoughts as far as the walls costing donuts?
Well, that's like a shift in just the nature of currency, the devaluation of donuts that we've discussed so much. Yeah, usually like when you spend donuts for a wall fence or any type of barrier like that, it came with a bonus percentage. So to not get it, it just shows like the total devaluation of donuts. And we've seen that in other ways too, with all the cash for character skins and NPCs and so forth. But personally, I mean, anyone who quickie farms or just plays regularly, donuts isn't really that difficult a currency anymore. So having 30 donuts for 20 walls is not really that big a deal. For newer players, like my wife recently just started playing, she's still not even at level 100, and struggling to get the donuts to keep going. Like, yeah, 30 donuts does seem like a lot. So it's
Buy concrete walls if that's your problem. They'll serve the same purpose.
Yeah. Really, for those people, yeah, the 30 donuts to not get a bonus percentage seems a little odd, but I feel like this is fine. Like they're charging 30 donuts for now, and then eventually, probably in a future THOH event, they'll come back for cash. So at that time, people who, like my wife, or who are not able to spend the donuts to get it will be able to get it for cash probably.
Yeah. And then the next prize is the helicopter, the geriatric park helicopter, which we have a bunch of helicopters in Springfield. Our complaint's always the same thing. All it does is hovers up in the air like a foot, and then comes back down when you tap it. But you can buy multiple ones. I don't know why you would want to, but you can. Once you unlock it, you can add more in your Springfield for 20 donuts. I think it's 20. Might be 30. Offhand, I don't remember. But, I'm assuming your thoughts are the same. It goes up, it hovers, comes down,
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, it goes nice with the geriatric part. It goes nice if you have like an airport area from the airport event. So yeah, there's a couple different options for it, but yeah, I mean, there's just so many different planes and helicopters and aviation devices that your whole plane and tarmac and whole area is like very easily fillable. But the nice thing with the geriatric walls, if you make a park, you can nicely place it in there just as a whole geriatric park theme. So coming back to that cohesiveness of Act 1.
Yeah, exactly. And then we've got the exploration pods, which right now don't mean much. They will come into play during Act 2. So as you go through the Act 2 prize track, you will unlock a special task for them. So for now, it's just basically a little decoration that if you tap, there's some animation to it, but not much. That's kind of one of those, it gets better, I promise, items. And again, fits nicely within the geriatric park area too. And it is directly from the episode, which is nice. And then the last prize, the lone building on this prize track, the visitor center, the geriatric park visitor center, which has a task there, which is nice. I always love when they add buildings that have secondary tasks there. This one's for Grandpa. Thoughts on the building?
I mean, it's a nice building. You need something to go into the geriatric park if you put the walls and everything. So this is a nice one to have. And the nice thing is there's a few other options as well coming that can go uh, into the geriatric park area. So overall, I liked it. The size was reasonable. We've been getting a lot of like extra huge buildings, so I felt like this one wasn't too bad.
Yeah, no, I agree. And again, it fits nicely in the area. Um, so we are, as we've said a few times, we're recording this before Act Two actually hits. But as of today, Act Two hit yesterday, so you're barely into Act Two. So it's really hard to even make an assessment, even if we were recording this on Saturday morning. But your Act Two is more. This is where the storyline kind of takes a turn, and we start to spoof the Into the Navi Treehouse of Horror episode or segment of Treehouse of Horror episode, where the characters are trying to collect Hilarium to defeat the dinosaurs because, the first part didn't work. So the one thing I noticed with this prize track is there's lots of trucks on it. So you've got Sideshow Mel. The Wookiee used to complain he wanted more vehicles in TSTO, and I think EA just said, okay, you want more vehicles? Here you go. You get Sideshow Mel's monster truck, future military Jeep, and human-sized body bags truck. So you have 3 Jeeps/trucks in this prize track alone. And then you also have the exploration pod task, which is riding an exploration pod, which is for Lisa and Grandpasaurus. And then the last prize in this prize track, the geriatric park pond, which is easily the best prize on this prize track, which will fit nicely in your park. Just quick thoughts on the fact that there's 3 vehicles in the Act 2 prize track.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit on the lazy side. None of them are really like wow vehicles either. Like the human-sized body bags truck, it just looks like any other truck, just with
It's
a different side.
It's Oscar's obstacles truck, just a different color.
Exactly, and a different label on the side. That's yeah, any
Yep.
of those trucks, Oscars, and all the other trucks that have come since, they all look basically the same, just with different labels on the side, different colored tractor. But yeah, the Jeeps as well, and the Sideshow Mel's monster truck. We have a lot of trucks and vehicles that are similar to both of them too. So nothing really much to write home about. I'm kind of curious to see the animated task. As of the airing of this, I have probably not unlocked the prize yet. But the last couple of prizes on Prize Track have been pretty good, so they do have high hopes to fill. So we'll see if they can match that.
From what I see in the media file, the images, it's going to be fun. But yeah, I mean, so the story kind of is going off into this direction now, where the basic theme of the entire event revolves around Geriatric Park and that Treehouse of Horror episode, or segment rather, and then Act 2 spoofs more onto Into the Navi. Act 3 spoofs on the Island of Dr. Hibbert, and then Act 4 goes into the 30-foot eyesores, I think is what that one's called, or Attack of the 30-foot eyesores.
I think 50 foot, but
50 foot. 30 feet, yeah. 50 feet, same difference. Either way, you're taller than me. So that's kind of where the direction that we're headed in. So you're going to get kind of these other episodes interwoven into this general theme of this one particular Treehouse of Horror segment. So it's kind of interesting how they've woven everything else into it. And to touch on that briefly, I just want to we've noticed in the comments a lot of reader feedback that you're not happy with the theme because it's not Halloweeny enough. We had this same debate back in 2017 when it came to the Magic event. This is the 10th Treehouse. I mean, I'm sure some of you have seen my comments about this, but this is the 10th Treehouse of Horror update in TSTO. That's a lot of updates for a game. I know the show has 33 seasons to work off of, 32 Treehouse of Horror episodes to work off of, but it's still a lot of stuff. And each update contains multiple Treehouse of Horror episodes. So it's like you've got multiple aspects to it because the one short little segment isn't enough to really do it. And don't forget, the last event we had, Into the Multiverse, or Into the Homerverse rather, was also a Treehouse of Horror spoof. So that takes away that whole section. I I agree to an extent. Like, yeah, they could have put like a pumpkin in the store, or a pumpkin patch in the store. All these items we've had before in the past, they could have thrown them back in the store to do some Halloween decorating. But I don't know, Saf. Maybe it's just me, but the Treehouse of Horror episodes haven't really been about Halloween in decades. So once you cover them, which I feel like we've had a Monster Treehouse of Horror, we've had a Mythster Treehouse of Horror, we've had two Kodos and Kang Treehouse of Horrors, we've had just a straight like Halloween update where the kids just trick or treated and you got to throw eggs at people and that kind of stuff. There's not much else left to really cover unless you bring stuff back when it comes to Treehouse of Horror, because it's literally based on the episodes. So if you don't like it, you don't think it's Halloweeny enough, blame the writers of The Simpsons, not the game. Like, I don't know. Maybe, like I said, maybe it's just me. I don't know what your thoughts are.
No, I agree. I mean, if you harken back to like the first few THOH episodes, they would always begin with like Marge coming out and giving a disclaimer: these stories are scary. They haven't done that in ages. I think you were mentioning before we came on the air about like how lately it's just been movie parodies, and that's what it is. Like every segment has been a movie parody. I mean, we just had recently the second prize of the season 33 prize track come out as well. That too is like a movie parody. Last year's Academy Award winner, Parasite. So this event, it's a THOH event, not a Halloween event. THOH, there's none of the H's stand for Halloween. So they do stand for the second H for horror, and I agree there's not much horror in this unless you're expecting Halloween, in which case, oh my god, the horror, there's no Halloween. But yeah, really, I mean, this is coming straight from the episode, so I have no complaints. Like some of the segments that I really, really liked, especially this event, the attack of the 50-foot dinosaurs, Jurassic Park, the island of Dr. Hibbert. Like these are some of my favorite THOH segments. So I'm glad to see them make it into the game. Yeah, so I got no complaints with that, but I understand where people are coming from. But they got to understand, yeah, again, this is not a Halloween event. This is a THOH event.
And EA never bills it as a Halloween event. They always call it, well, I shouldn't say they always call it. As of the last like 5 years, they've been calling it Treehouse of Horror. We call it Halloween because we're, you know,
around the time of year.
We're entitled addicts, so we call it Halloween because that's what we're used to. We've been doing this so long, that's to us, that's what it is. But it's not what it is. It's a Treehouse of Horror episode update. So, like I said, if you don't like it, you want more Halloween in it, complain to the writers at The Simpsons. Because all EA's doing is taking a concept from one of those, saying, this is what we think we're going to do. They're sending it to the writers of The Simpsons. The Simpsons writers are writing the dialogue for the show, for the update, and then they're creating everything else around it. So, I get it. It's not how they could have, like I said, they could have thrown a pumpkin in the store, for crying out loud, pumpkin patch. They could have brought back the giant pumpkin with the Millhouse with his blankie. I get it. They should have done that. But for the most part, the overall theme is Treehouse of Horror. I mean, I don't know what else. I don't know how much more Treehouse of Horror you could get than literally spoofing four Treehouse of Horrors. So, five. So
yeah. I found it interesting that they spoofed 5, and then all of a sudden this year, instead of having 3 segments, they had 5 segments. So it's like they replete their a catalog of potential future events with 5 more THOH segments this year.
But it's, even if you watched like this year's Treehouse of Horror, the only thing Halloween about that episode was the one brief part in the episode with the trees. I forget which one it was called.
Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, that's it.
Nightmare of Elm Trees.
Something like that. But where Homer and Marge are in their bedroom and their bedroom's decorated for Halloween. That was the only Halloween thing I saw in that entire episode. So, yes, that's my own 2 cents on it, I guess. But yeah, so I'm sorry, it's not more Halloweeny for you. I know. I was upset when Christmas wasn't Christmas, but they actually bill it as a Christmas event, so that was a little distressing to me because they actually call it Christmas this year, and then add the year at the end of it. So that's why I was more upset. But they bill this as Treehouse of Horror, and with the exception of Test Subject Bart, every item from this is from a Treehouse of Horror episode. Test Subject Bart comes from Whacking Day. Other than that, everything comes from a Treehouse of Horror. So I don't know. That's our 2 cents. But yeah, so Saf, do you have anything else you would like to add before we wrap things up?
No, I mean, season's going good so far. Last Sunday, hopefully you caught the THOH episode. And again, the prize track for season 33, second prize related to THOH, there's no real time limit yet on it. So you could focus on the events first, guys, if you're deciding where to send your characters. But that prize track only takes 2 hours to complete, so it's not very difficult to unlock that second prize. Overall, yeah, enjoy Act 2. If you feel it's not as good as Act 1, don't worry. Act 3 and 4 are looking promising.
Act 3 gets better. Act 4, I am actually looking forward to Act 4, but Act 3 gets better for sure.
The dialogue's fun. They're on point. The music's nice. Yeah, some people have been commenting that, like, they're missing the haze around the screen and like the dark water, bubbly water. But again,
the water's murky. The trees have changed color, so that you've got the fall foliage. You've got the wind blowing. Every once in a while, leaves will whip across your screen, and you've got the Halloween theme music, which means nothing to me because I play without sound. But they've got the ambiance down.
Yeah, no, definitely. So enjoy. That's all I got.
Okay. All right. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the rest of Treehouse of Horror. We'll probably be back in 2 weeks. We'll talk about our thoughts on Act 2, which I think is going to be a dumpster fire of a prize track, and our thoughts on Act 3. By then we should be good to go. And yeah, so thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing, and thanks for being a part of the awesome Addicts community. And we will see you guys on the next show. Bye-bye.